was a good lunch.
It was a beautiful lunch. Thank you, Stuart.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, no.
Isn't that nice?
You call that nice? There's no class or style about it, or no chrome. No, nothing.
Not a fan.
Wonder how that'll be going in
57 years.
57 years.
Hang on, imaginary seatbelts on.
I don't know how many times you do that.
Yeah. It
When you
feels...
get in.
I feel naked. I feel like I've got no clothes on, sitting in the car with no seatbelt.
Here we go.
Here we go. Bye-bye, Tesla. Love you.
Love you too, Stu.
Tesla.
A really interesting one this week. It's not so much a performance review, but more an insight into the role this really significant Holden car played in Aussie family life a generation ago, 2 generations ago. I really hope you enjoy it. Michael Ricketts, special guest host today on inCARnation.
Hi, Stuart.
G'day, mate. There is nothing more Australian than meat pies, kangaroos,
And Holden cars.
and Holden cars.
And that's what we're in today.
And there's no more quintessentially, that's a big word, isn't it? Quintessentially Holden car than the EH Holden from 1964.
1964, yeah. My father purchased this in 1965.
Wow. Second-hand car.
Second-hand car, 12 months old. That was quite a traditional thing back in those days. A lot of people only kept their cars for 12 months and kept updating all the time.
It's been in your family since 1965.
That's correct, yeah.
57 years. Is that steering heavy?
It's actually not too bad. It's certainly not power steering, but it's...
It loads up a bit when you put some lock
Well,
on.
look at the size of the steering wheel.
Yeah, it gets some leverage
it's not
there.
a little... So you got plenty of leverage.
Yep.
We were on our way as a family to Wagga. My brother and I riding in the back of the FJ Ute. It was
Really?
a 1954 in the back of the Ute.
Yep.
That's what you had to do because there was, nowhere else to ride. And when we were coming back home, Dad saw this car, saw the station wagons there and thought, wow, that's what I need for the family. I wonder how much one of those is. Went in, had a bit of a look around it and said to the guy, I've got an FJ Ute to trade in. How much would you give me for the Ute? And the guys, they only went round the Ute once and said, it's a £600 changeover. So this car was £1,200 second hand.
Mm-hmm.
And so Dad had paid £1,000 for the FJ Ute new, and he was 10 years later getting £600 back for it.
Yep.
So yeah, so we Dad wrote them out a personal check.
A personal check.
Personal check there and then.
To a dealer that he'd never been to before. He
The
didn't know
dealer
him.
didn't know him. No revs check. Nothing. Just here's the money. Shake your hand.
You got out of the back of the Ute, got in the back seat of this.
Got in the back seat of this. We thought we were in a school bus coming home. My brother and I. We could not believe it. We were jumping from the back seat into the back, and
Yeah.
so that's how we did it. Yeah.
And your dad, he's kind of looked after it.
He did. He was very particular. So he was a sheep shearer. So they would travel to work every day. So this would be loaded up with five or six adults for the day's work. All the eskies in the back, and out they'd go at pretty rough dirt roads. And then each night when Dad had come home, the car would be washed and put back in the shed. It was never put back in the shed dirty ever.
Wow.
One other little thing that he used to do was each Christmas the car come out of the shed and was polished.
Once a year.
Once a year only. And also the battery would be removed at Christmas time and turned upside down, the acid drained out of it, and then wash it out up through the holes with the squirty nozzle on the hose.
Yeah.
Put it back in and fill it up with new acid. And when Dad passed away, my brother and I were so keen to have a look at how long that battery had been in the car.
Yeah.
It was only a cheap Dunlop battery had been in the car for 11 years.
Because you maintain it. It shows.
Have a look at these little things, Stuart.
Oh yeah, you got a pin up there.
There's a pin here, there's another still up there. So coming home from work when you'd have the thistles in your fingers from shearing sheep,
Oh yeah.
you yeah,
As he came home, he'd use that pin.
pick the pins out.
That pin is part of the heritage of this car. I can't say I've ever seen a car that's almost close to 60 years old in original unrestored condition that's as good as this.
It's
Because the paint's original.
I had it under a cover in the shed during a rat plague, and then realised that the rats had actually run up the bonnet and over the roof, and so I had the bonnet redone and the roof.
Okay. But other than that,
Yep.
there's been no big project to restore it.
Never had a big prang or anything like that.
What colour would you call this?
Yeah, green,
Yeah, more specifically.
light green,
Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of works.
and with a white roof.
Yeah. Two-tone. Oh, then
Two-tone,
it's
that-
not the standard edition. It must be a special.
This was special.
Woo! It's got a full tank of gas.
Back in those days, it would have been super petrol.
Super.
Yeah, that was
With-
pretty
with lead.
particular. Always had super. Never went to a service station to fill up with fuel. It was always filled up at home
Oh, really?
and strained in with a funnel with a strainer in
Wow.
it. Yeah, didn't trust people to.
Man, your dad sounds hardcore. Was he a tough dad?
He was pretty tough. Fair. Well, look, if we misbehaved, we copped it.
And I bet there's some stories about the back of this car. Could you tell me some stories?
Actually, on this road here, my brother and I were jumping backwards and forwards in the back, and Dad's just turned around and said, "You boys," that was it. It wasn't "you boys, stop jumping" or anything. It was just "you boys." So we just sort of kept jumping, obviously. We got down the bottom of the hill here, pulled up at the other side of the causeway,
Yep.
just casually walked over to the willow tree that was there and broke a branch off, then dragged us out of the car and gave us a flogging for jumping backwards and forwards.
You bad boys.
I still remember it. I must have needed it. So I didn't
Well,
jump
what's
anymore.
Dad doing? Why is he breaking the branch off the tree?
Yeah.
Get your trousers down and you'll find out. Whack, whack.
And did it hurt anyone? Really? No.
You look pretty emotionally damaged to me.
We
You couldn't do that
I
these
think
days.
that's probably what's wrong with today's society. They're not taught.
You thought you were on a channel that talks about car reviews and we're into behavioural psychology.
Yeah, it was-
I can see the broken branch.
Yeah, good on you.
It's still
Stu.
there. Let's talk about Holden cars. The EH was made from 1963 to 1965. It was preceded by the EJ, then
Yep.
the EH, and it's quite similar looking cars. Then later on the HD and the HR and
Well, the EH come out. It was the first car that had the option of two motors, the new red motor, which was the 149 and the 179. So
Yep.
this one was fitted with the 179,
which for the record is 2.93 litres, and
Yep.
the 149 is 2.45 litres, so it's 2.5 litre. This is a 3 litre.
Dad said he just couldn't believe the power when he on the way home.
But this is over 100 horsepower, isn't it? 115, I think.
115, yeah.
That's heaps.
Something else really noticeable about these older cars. This is absolutely fantastic on the dirt. I don't know whether it's because of the old kingpin is in the kingpin front end rather than having a top and bottom ball joint
Yeah,
control arm system.
may well be.
yeah.
The ride is actually very flat, notwithstanding we're on this slippery vinyl seat, and every
Yeah,
time
they
we go
are
around a corner we
slippery.
slide out of it.
They're great in the summer because you sweat and you really slip across the seat then.
Yeah. What's the mileage? What's it done in total?
129,000 miles.
Is that all?
That's all.
129,000 miles?
Yes,
That's 210,000 Ks.
that's it. That's the total.
Wow, that's nothing.
That's nothing.
Yeah. So here's where we see what the turning circle's like. Takes a bit of muscle.
What have we
That's pretty good.
It's actually only two lanes.
For old time's sake, I just had to have a drive.
You're fine. Right hand side, down the gear, stopping, get ready to stop. No. Which way are you going? Okay, just wasn't sure which way he's going. Oh, and round we go. Oh, I can see why you need muscles with this. Oh.
Michael helped me out with some pretty dubious tips on my driving posture. Best things about this car: the airy sense of space, Those vinyl bench seats, the springy ride, the bump suppression was really good, and the little things like just how good old-fashioned quarter windows are at getting fresh air right through the car. In its day, this was the bee's knees, but to be honest, I had totally forgotten just how bad these cars are to drive by modern standards. The recirculating ball steering had a ridiculous amount of free play at the straight ahead. The kingpin suspension might be great on the dirt, insulating you from what's going on, but you get no feedback at all from the front end about what those skinny tyres are doing on those little 13-inch rims. And the brakes gave me no confidence either. Little 9-inch drums front and rear, so you need to plan your stops yesterday. Luckily, it's not fast. 0 to 100 in about 11 seconds at best, 14 with the 3-speed Hydromatic, and the quarter mile in about 20 seconds, or 19 if there's a strong tailwind. The 179 pushrod motor does have good solid low torque of about 237 Newton meters, but it runs out of puff at about 4,000 revs with just 86 kilowatts, which is probably enough to take 5 sheep shearers off to work, but I can't imagine racing one of these death traps. Nonetheless, in the 1960s, that's exactly what Norm Beachy did, managing to extract 200 horsepower from the 179 red motor. And win. You wouldn't catch me putting my faith in those dodgy drum brakes at the end of Conrod Straight at 130 miles an hour, but that's what he did, in short sleeves. #respect. Despite all that, clearly this car is very special. A much-loved member of Michael's family for 6 decades, and I heard a few more stories that I just cannot repeat on YouTube.
Do you know how many they made of these?
I don't actually know. How many?
I
Stu?
do.
Yes.
Over 250,000.
250,000.
256,000
Wow.
EH Holdens over 3 years. It was made in Australia at the Pagewood plant or down in Victoria.
Yep.
So there's the basic, the standard model, the special,
And the Premier.
and the Premier. Now the Premier had bucket seats.
Oh, it was something
Oh,
else.
it was something else, wasn't
The
it?
Premier had the Hydromatic transmission.
Oh.
The 2 big bucket seats. They were like sort of
Yeah.
armchair, lounge chairs. Although this was,
This is great.
yeah. Do you know we used to call these CODs? These seats.
COD seats.
Yeah, come over, darling. It stood for. No, Stu. It was only when you had a girlfriend sitting close.
Oh,
Not,
me.
yeah, no. Well, they were great. Like when you were a young guy. Like
So
that.
did you and your brother take your girlfriends out in this car together?
We went to the drive-in a few times. We could lay the back seat down, bit of a foam mattress in the back.
Yep.
My brother and I come home one Friday night and come inside, and we were very surprised to see Dad still up.
Yeah.
He said, "Have you boys been out the Temora Road dragging?" Because that was Friday night
Oh yeah.
in a country town, and that's what us young fellas did. We went out and raced our cars up and down along the straight.
Yep.
And
Of course you did.
we said, "Yes, Dad." He said, "Oh, how'd you go?" I said, "Oh, not real good." And Jeff had an EH, and he'd had a fuel problem with it. Anyway, Dad just threw me the keys, and he said, "Here, take my EH out and see how it goes."
Really?
We couldn't believe it. We were back out the door and back out the road as quick as a flash. And I'm not joking. We got well over 100 mile an hour out of it back then.
It feels very comfortable cruising along. We're doing 100 k's now, 60 miles an hour.
The speedo's not quite right anymore.
Oh,
Stu,
okay.
yeah.
So it's a bit lower.
It's yeah.
Is that why everybody's flashing past
That
us?
is why everyone's flashing past it.
It's got a solid state transistorized radio in it.
Actually, I bought that for Dad when I was in about 5th class at school. It was
Yep.
$14.
It's a beautiful car. I love the way there's a bit of a patina in the paint. Like you've repainted the bonnet and the roof, but the paint round the back there, it's got the crow's feet kind of look.
Yeah, well, we never had any doors on the shed at home.
Do you want to know what they're going for? I had a
I've
look
got
last
no
night.
idea.
Well, I do. There's 16 for sale in Australia. There's one that's a show car, but it's $120,000.
Okay.
You know, mirror finish underneath the whole.
Yeah, right,
So
okay.
that we'll count him out. And then there's the bashed up. Oh, I was going to be a project car, but I never got time, and it's $12,000. What you can't find is one that hasn't been messed with. They've got hot wire mags on them, or they've upgraded to the 202 motor, where somebody's had a go at them at some stage. What you can't find is a car like this, and if you do, you're talking $60,000 or more.
Wow. The other really outstanding feature on this car when it came out was the headlights.
Oh,
Because it
yeah?
had seal beam lights.
Oh.
Dad just couldn't believe how bright they were compared to the old 6-volt globes in the FJ. only a bit better than a very dull torch at the best of times now compared to today's modern cars.
It's got a heating control.
Yeah, actually Dad made the heater and put it in himself.
Wow.
What about the gear shift, Stewie?
Here we go. Second and...
Pause and then into third. Don't pull it straight through.
No. Pause in the middle.
Pause in the middle. So don't hurt the old synchros. That was...
Yeah. It's only got synchro on second and third. No synchro on first.
Yeah, have you seen that? I'll give you a demo.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. We'll go
Third.
back to
Oh,
second.
double shuffle.
Back to second.
Like a truckie.
Then slow down to get into
Almost
first,
nothing.
and then
Double shuffle. See that?
back to no synchro.
Look at that. And you're in top gear at 20 miles an hour up the hill.
Up the hill. This is how we tell if the car was. This was Dad's way of testing it to see was the car
Yep.
in perfect tune. First of all, you let your foot off the accelerator, let the car slow right down like that. Then when you put your foot on it, it must pull away with no jerking or hesitation at all.
Like that.
Look at that.
And that
No
tells you
jerking,
the
John.
plugs and the points are in
Plugs,
good
the
shape.
points, the plug leads, the needles and seat, everything was fine.
Because if the plugs and points weren't in great shape,
Oh, we carry the points with us. It's
ready to go.
a few light globes, all filed
In the
up.
distributor. Nicely filed up, see that? And that's why you've got a light
In under the bonnet, rather.
in under the bonnet.
Yeah. I had a girlfriend and I was trying to teach her how to drive.
Yeah.
So-
oh dear.
We came home, her parents had gave me strict instructions to have her home by a certain time.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to drop her home and her parents weren't home. So I said, how about we go for a drive up the road and you can drive.
I'll teach you how to drive a manual.
I'll teach you how to drive a manual.
Yeah.
So away we go. It's only about probably 3 k's up the road. We went to turn around and to come back, and she jumped the clutch and shot the car backwards, and the diff got stuck up on the mound of dirt, and we couldn't get the car off the mound of dirt. So then we had to walk back to her parents' place. We were still really lucky the parents weren't home. And her father had a little Massey Ferguson tractor. So we jumped on the tractor, pitched like this was 10 o'clock at night, no lights on the tractor, up the road,
Yeah.
pulled the ute off the mound
Yep.
of dirt, back down. But as we turned into their driveway, here's her father standing there with his arms folded.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm on his pride and joy,
Yeah.
the tractor,
Yeah.
not the daughter.
Yep. Oh,
then
well, she was the
she's-
second pride and joy.
She's coming in the ute behind. Well, that was the end. I wasn't allowed to date her ever again. I was banned from out there.
Well, in a way that's fortuitous because that left you available for Pauline,
That's correct.
who we mentioned and who's a car lover.
That's right.
She who chooses the cars and buys them without even consulting you.
That's the one. I do enjoy driving fast, Stewie.
It can be a fast drive, but it's not appropriate to drive this car any other way than you're driving it today. You're
No,
doing
this is it.
I think you're doing a good job.
I think I'm doing a good job too, thanks, Joe.
Yeah. Has he got any safety equipment in here to protect us in the event
Horn to warn people out of the way.
of... Okay. I've got a nice soft padded
You've
dash
got a
here.
soft
and go,
padded dash. That's about it.
You've got nothing.
No, I can hang on to the wheel.
What
Okay.
are you going to show me?
You want to have a look in the glove box? There's
Oh, yeah?
a few things in there.
Yep.
So we've got an owner's manual.
Yep.
You go into an owner manual today, and the first 3/4 of the manual is all about the safety stuff. There's not one
Yeah.
mention of any safety in the car at all. Oh, we've got the owner's, the workshop manual.
Oh, yeah?
And if you really get into this, it has everything in here, Stu. You'll be shocked how to
Yep.
put new bearings and
Yep.
seals in your water pump.
Yep.
Interesting enough here, look, we've got a 149 float setting as difference to the 179.
7.9.
Didn't know that.
Crankshaft, 7-bearing crankshaft.
Craven, 7-bearing crankshaft.
So really
yeah.
strong bottom end.
What about this one? Doing your own.
Differential. How to set the backlash on the differential.
Yeah, there's a diagram here on that too.
Does it tell you not to drink the contents of the battery?
No, I haven't come across that in here. Yeah.
They didn't need to, did they? They
No,
they credited you with a bit more sense
Well,
than that.
there's no safety stuff in it whatsoever. They presumed that people weren't idiots. Yeah. What about a locking petrol
You've got
cap?
half of these on your car.
They have. We've got a
Insect
weather
screen.
shield.
Yep.
Um,
You got exterior mirror.
well, we've got the bonnet the bonnet.
fender ornaments?
We haven't got fender ornaments. Remember
Oh.
they're the ones that
Oh,
went on
yeah.
the... See, there they are, the fender
Oh.
ornaments on there.
Oh, missed out.
No.
You got a locking petrol cap?
Locking petrol cap. That was to keep my brother out because he had a
Siphon.
tendency
I heard.
to want to milk the petrol tank on Dad's car.
Did I hear that when he went trips into
No,
the-
you don't. You don't talk about that. No,
Right, okay.
no, we won't talk about that. You can have a warning light for when the handbrake's on. That's marvelous.
So you don't
isn't
go,
it?
what's that smell?
Yeah.
Suitcase set,
Suitcase set matching.
just like a McLaren.
What about a glove box lamp? The Premier actually had a lot of those accessories on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were the lucky people, weren't they?
They were the wealthy people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Stu, hang on a minute.
Oh yeah. What else you got?
Before we got this is you'll love this one.
First aid.
First aid: spiders, scorpions.
Yep.
What to do if you've got a broken neck or
Broken
a broken
neck.
back?
Yep.
What about even
Black eye.
a black eye? What about this one? Electric shock. If the person's laying on a live wire,
Yeah.
you get a stick and prop underneath him
Yeah.
to roll him off it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Great idea. If you drown, quickly flip back to page 8.
Under breathing. Drowning.
Let's see what
page
else.
8 under
What about
drowning.
this one? This one here, I think Dad saw that position a lot. Oh no, they're not flogging the child. They're actually getting rid of the blocked air passageways.
That is
unconsciousness
just cause
if the
unknown.
cause is unknown.
Oh my god.
So that's not if your wife's knocked you out.
or the angry father of your girlfriend when you brought her home.
That's
at midnight.
exactly right.
Yes.
Splinters.
Jeez, it's made strongly, isn't it? Do you know this car only weighed 1,120 kilos?
Really?
It's the same as your Volvo.
Wow, that is light, isn't it?
In the sedan. It's probably a bit heavier in the wagon.
Notice how well preserved that is.
Yep.
Was always covered with a wheat bag or Hessian bag. We've got the other things and some tyre levers. But this bag here, you'll love this. You'd remember these.
Vulcanising patches.
So you took the tube out of the tyre, you got your vulcanising patch out,
Oh yeah.
put it over the patch,
Where's the press?
phosphorus in there I suppose,
Yeah.
and lit
and
that and it heated up and
Yep.
melted the patch onto the tube.
Yep.
Haven't done one for a few years myself.
But you have done one.
Yeah, like have a look at this, what a great idea. So the lid's actually got a scratchy pad on it so to
Yep.
rough the surface of the tyre up.
Yep, yep.
Plenty of spare matches.
These days you don't
Every
even get a spare. These days you don't even get a can of goo. Mate, you're concentrating because there's hazards. Look at this. Oh, gee, it does glide along, doesn't it?
It does go well over the rough stuff, told
Yeah.
you that.
Yeah, you're right.
A few squeaks in the back, did you notice that?
Trivial. Amazing to think a car this old is still so capable. Reasonable fuel economy on
About 28 mile on the gallon.
run on normal unleaded now, just on
I
91.
run it on 98.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Even though it's not a particularly high compression motor,
No, put the best in it that I can.
this was the car that brought up a whole generation. Our generation. That's now two generations ago.
Absolutely. And they were practical cars. Like they weren't made to break the speed record. They were just basically to transport a family from point A to point B and go about your daily life. No satellite navigation. There was no cruise control or lane departure warnings or
Not much concession to safety either, to be honest. But the trick was you didn't drive too fast and didn't crash. Traffic volumes were less then.
the car was solid. It
Yeah.
didn't crumple up. Yeah, they're not a very big car though. Like we're sitting quite
They're
close
long.
together, aren't we?
It's 4.5 metres long. Yeah,
Okay,
but the
that's
wheelbase is
deceiving.
shorter. The wheelbase is only 2650, which is so there's a lot of overhang front and back. But it's actually quite long. But it's not. You're right. It's not very wide.
No, they're not very wide, and the doors are quite thick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're so solid. Look, man, listen to that clam.
You're not allowed to slam the doors.
Oh,
I'll have to pull up and get a stick for you.
Righto. You get the willow tree on me.
The willow tree stick onto you.
Oh, that'd be bad. Well, I've had a lovely time, and we've seen some great roads around here the last few days. Thank you for letting me review all your cars.
Absolute pleasure,
Well,
Stewie.
yeah,
we
this-
haven't scratched the surface. We've got all the later ones to do yet.
Oh, it's been fun. Thanks for watching inCARnation. Bit of a different kind of review today. More about him than about the car, but that's a nice change. See ya. So it's been an honour to be in it today, and a big thank you to Michael for sharing the EH story. I hope you enjoyed it too. Coming up, Lamborghini, Maserati. So we have not forgotten sports cars. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a like, leave a comment. See you soon.
Well, I dropped the Mustang. I knew he had nothing. Told you.
Took a while.
Oh hey, you made it right through to the end of the video. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please share it with your motoring friends. And above all, click the little subscribe thing down here so you can see the latest videos when we bring them out, hopefully each week. I look forward to seeing you soon.